Satnam Aloha, everyone. This is the live stream. And if you could put your name, not your name, your astrological information if you want, and your human design. And this is going to be round 2. Remember, if you were here on Thursday, I attempted to do a live stream, but it was just a gong show with all the tech issues. So it was just the wrong time. So let me just share the screen here. And today I want to talk about Saturn going retrograde. So Saturn going retrograde here. So it goes retrograde from June 17th, so that's in 6 days, until November 3rd, 2023. So why is this important? It magnifies the Saturn energy. And so Saturn brings lessons that can't be avoided. I call it the gentle brick wall because it manifests on the external, right? These spiritual lessons, they manifest on the external and you can't ignore them, right? Saturn rules time and space. So remember why we're on the planet. Remember, we're spiritual beings having human experiences. We're here to transcend duality. We're here to transcend our ego and mind and to realize the self, which is to realize our eternal self. That's why we're here on the planet. So this is how I approach astrology and human design in a very spiritual way, right? So it's all about your evolution. Okay, so these lessons come on the material realm. That's why they're so painful for people. They're like, oh no, Saturn is transiting this part of my chart, or and it's causing all this upset, right? Or I'm having a Saturn return, whatever it is, right? You hear this a lot from people who know astrology. So it manifests on the physical. So we need to remember, right, that we're evolving through the emotional body. Right? So there's no way to get around this. Many paths are saying the same thing. This is the new frontier, is our emotional body. So the emotional body is what's creating. It's what's creating, and then this is the cause. The emotional body is the cause. The astral plane is the cause. And then it gets manifested on the external. And that's the effect. But this is the cause, the emotional body. So keep that in mind with this Saturn retrograde, because it's going to be really clear, right? Your lessons, that's the great thing about Saturn. Everything becomes really, really clear. Okay, so the emotional body is creating something, the collective emotional body of humanity, but your own personal emotional body is creating something. These are stuck emotions, right? Manifesting on the external so that you can see it, and then that you can do this, your inner work. This is your spiritual work, is to integrate, right? All this stuff that's going on inside you, this conflict, right? So what it is, it's like a tiger on your path. You may have heard this story from ancient India. The woman, she was getting married and she's really excited. She was getting married the next day, and she was in a little village, and she was walking to the town, right? She was getting her cake and her wedding dress and all that, and she's in the reverie, right? In the dream state about how wonderful this wedding's going to be. So she's walking right through the woods, and then she meets a tiger right on her path, right in front of her. Well, what happens to the reverie? And that all drops away. That's the tiger. I've got to deal with this tiger. So Saturn is like that. It's like puts a tiger on your path. And so that's a blessing to have a tiger on your path, because it means you, the higher self, has created something, created an obstacle, right? This is how the mind interprets it, the mind and ego, an obstacle, but really it's a wake-up call to wake up out of the dream, right? Wake up out of the dream. This is awakening on the spiritual path. So Saturn is also, it shows us where our fears are. And it shows us where our attachments are in a very real, visceral way. So you can see here that it's connected, see 37.2, right? It's 37. So this is the solar plexus. That's the area of our emotions. This is going through a huge mutation for 2027 that I talked about, right? The global cycle, the new 400-year global cycle, the cross of the sleeping phoenix. The phoenix is awakening, right? That's you. The phoenix is awakening. Everything that's not you is being burned away. That's the ashes. And up is birthed, is the phoenix, and that's your authentic self. Right? So the 37 is going through a huge mutation anyway. So you can see the 37 comes off the solar plexus, and that's their area of emotions. So the 37 correlates to the shadow of weakness, the gift of equality, and the city of tenderness. So we don't want to go too deep into this because I don't want my videos to be like super long, right? Is what's the fear, right? Every shadow pattern has a fear. It's that lack of support. I feel a lack of support. So let's just do the rundown of the shadow pattern here. Is where is it here? There we go. Right? So here's the shadow, how you know you're in your shadow, right? So remember, we live in a plane of duality. There's light and shadow. So Saturn is showing us where our work is, right? And it's retrograde, so it's going to really amplify it. And then I'll go to your chart, right? According to your zodiac sign, so that you can be aware of, oh, here's how it's playing out. And it may or may not be a surprise for you because it's been sitting there anyway, right? But retrograde's really going to amplify the energy. Well, the shadow of weakness is I settle for less than I'm worth, right? Unable to see the larger picture. So shadow limits you, right? And when you're in the shadow frequency of fear, which is a lower state frequency, you only see through the shadow, right? It's like putting on the yellow chakra glasses, you know, at the metaphysical bookstore, all you see is yellow. It's like the shadow. All I see is weakness around me. Need to be competitive, hustle and hassle to survive. This is our animal self. Can't trust the human collective. I can't even trust my family or community members when you're in the shadow of weakness. And you're a victim to your emotions, your emotional state. The fear is there's no support for me. There's no support for me. So this could be as simple as your intuition is saying, you know, it's time for you to leave that job, right? And really put your shingle out, put yourself out there and start acting on your intuitive guidance, which maybe is to be an entrepreneur. We're all going to be headed to entrepreneurship, right, for this new cycle of the sleeping phoenix, because remember, we can't rely on these institutions. I talk about this in my videos, right? But what's the fear that comes up? I'm weak. I'm too weak, and there's no support for me. Who's going to support me to do this, right? So, but it's a fear. This is the belief, but the fear is just a frequency. Neutrally, it's just a frequency moving through your body. So the belief is I'm weak, right? I'm weak, and I feel like I don't belong anywhere. Where do I belong? So this is the thing. We're going through so much change, right? Everything that's not authentic to us is being squeezed out of us. This is the pressure and the stress, the anxiety and the loss. All of that is everything's getting squeezed, right? The phoenix, everything's burning away. That's not you. So you can experience a loss, right? Friends that used to be there aren't there anymore. Loved ones that used to be there, they're not there anymore, right? And it's like you're in this in-between state of like, where do I belong? I'm lost, right? Everything's uncertain right now. So that's the belief. I don't belong anywhere, but you do belong. You do belong because you exist, right? We're all one, right? It's like the wave in the ocean. The ocean's still there. Even though the wave's moving around, the ocean's still there. So you do belong. You're part of the ocean. You're part of the oneness. And then it's really connected to gender expression, the 37 as well. It's the masculine and feminine energies. So when you transmute this, right? So there's the ego whispering all this nonsense in your head that you believe is you, that you're weak, right? And weakness really, from a spiritual perspective, is you're weak in spirit. It means you're relying on that ego. As soon as you rely on your ego, you're weak, right? When you rely on your soul, right, and the divine, that strengthens you. That's your real strength. Then you're not weak at all. You're weak when you're connected to the ego, right? So here, spirit awareness, when you transmute this ego, so all you have to do with shadow work is just to see it. Oh, I see what Michael was talking about. This is exactly feeling this, and I'm thinking this. I'm in the shadow. So you saw it. Immediately say, that's not me. You feel the emotions coming up right till the end. You feel them. You open up your heart. You feel them. Maybe you cry, right? And then you expand. This is how the evolving through the emotional body is. And then you expand into spirit awareness, and then you're in the gift of equality and tenderness. So what does this mean? It means you're living from your heart. You're perceiving humanity as one family instead of just categorizing everybody, good and bad, and right? You see humanity as one family, and that's what we are. We're going to realize that we're one human organism. You give. This is about giving and receiving, right? So not giving, that makes you weak. That weakens you because the soul wants to give. All it knows is giving. It's like the sun. All the sun knows is to spread its light and warmth, right? So you're giving without a need for a return. So the ego, how the ego works is tit for tat. I give you this, and then you give me this back, right? That's tit for tat giving, right? There's an expectation there. With the giving without a need for a return is I'm going to give because my soul is giving me the impulse. Consciousness is giving me the impulse to give, so I'm going to obey that. And then you trust, right? So one human organism is like you give to this, and then something else from the collective gives back to you, right? So you receive from somewhere else, but you don't know where it is. And this drives the ego crazy. It goes against everything the ego is about, which is insecurity and fear, right? And competition. This is the world we've lived in for the last 2,000 years. And you know, the more you give, the more you receive. It's the law of giving and receiving, right? Spiritual law. And you see your vulnerability as a strength. So this is what we're going to talk about in your chart, right? So this is the shadow. So Saturn will show you where you believe you're weak, which isn't true at all. So Saturn really wants us to mature. These are like hard spiritual lessons. So the best way to deal with them is on the emotional level. This is the cause, and then the effect is the surface physical details, right? So you want to go to the cause, and then you don't have to create all this, the tiger on the path and all the drama and the chaos on the external world, right? You can deal with, this is the easy way, deal with it on the emotional level, on the internal level. And then this right here, right? So your trigger is a mirror, right? It's what's going on inside you emotionally. Your trigger is just a mirror. It has, right? The ego wants to, it's something out here that's causing it. All the cause is coming from inside you, and it's emotional, right? So just quickly, like, I don't know if I'm emotionally repressed. Well, here's some signs, quick signs. Physical exhaustion, flu-like symptoms, weird body pains, shoulders, back of heart chakra, right, in pain. Back issues, especially with fear of support. That's what the back represents. Oh, I've got back pain. I threw my back out again. It's not physical. That's not the cause. The cause is the emotional. And it's like, I'm not feeling supported. My body's expressing that so that I can see it. irritability, blowing up or over little things, like overreacting, extreme negative thinking, right, of what could go wrong, staying in drama, so it's remaining the surface of the emotional state, not going to the deeper. I want to stay angry, 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 instead of like feeling the anger, the fear, and then the grief. Uncontrollable eating, right, addictions, right, so sugar, salty, that's all anger. Crunchy foods, there's old books on this kind of stuff, right? Attracting crisis to you. Your children, if you have them, could be acting out. Even your pets if they have like bladder infections and things like that, that's fear. You're not dealing with your fear. And just acting, your pets could be acting strange or insecure, right? These are just a few signs, right? I could go. That's what my Sleeping Phoenix program's about. Which, there we go. So the Sleeping Phoenix, if you really are like, I need to do some major emotional work, inner child work, I'm unable to forgive, I can't let go of my past, right? I'm stuck. I've tried all these things on the external and they don't work. Then go to the Awakening the Sleeping Phoenix program, right? So this is like $300 off, $99. And this will take you from step one all the way, right? With meditations and all the tools and everything that I've done to heal my inner child, all the things that worked. I cherry picked them all and put them in this program. Okay, so consider that. Okay, and so remember our pathway of evolution, right? This is the pathway of awareness. We're moving from the physical, just experiencing the world through the physical, through our body, right, and our senses, to our mind, moving from the mental, and then we're going into the emotional. But the end game is we're coming back to vibrational, coming back to frequency, knowing ourselves as frequency and vibration. But we need to get through this emotional body. And this is the 0 to 7-year-old, right? It's all locked in there from 0 to 7. And that's what the Sleeping Phoenix is all about. Okay? So let's see if there's any comments before we get in. Oh, and also, I'm really excited about this series, Prosperity in Your Chart. Right? So each one of us has a unique relationship with our own prosperity. It's not what we've been taught in our conditioning, like it's a one size fits all. This is what prosperity is, this is what success is. It depends on your chart. There's certain ways that you're designed to earn money, certain ways that you're here to receive money, and then just your relationship with money. There'll be meditations and stuff. So this is a series. So it's probably going to be 8 to 10, probably closer to 10 hours. So not just at one, but July 1st and the 9th, right? So about 4 or 5 hours each webinar. So check that out. And there's the early bird special. So that's till June 19th, and that's $20 off. Okay, so very excited because this is all about the cross of the Sleeping Phoenix. Is just, we can't rely on these old institutions anymore and that somebody's going to give me a job. It's no, we have to get in touch with our creativity. This is about self-empowerment now. So self-reliance is a huge word for this 2027 cycle that's coming. And this will give you this empowerment. Oh, this is how it works. This is how it works for me, which is going to be different than how it works for other people, right? So keep that in mind. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Oh, Dania says, flitting between tears and tenderness, towards yourself. That's great. Underpaid. Okay. So Thomas can relate to this. This shadow, right? Not feeling supported, taken for granted, thinking about quitting my job. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is the thing I'm going to get into with the zodiac signs. Is remember, you're not alone. You're never alone. Even if like there's not a soul around you, right? There's no humans, there's no pets. Maybe the birds and the butterflies don't even come to visit you. Know that you're never, ever alone because God is with you. God is inside you, right? Me and God, God and me are one. So it's sometimes we have to humble ourselves, humble our ego, which means to still our minds, put those, this is why we do prayer pose, right? Why do we do this? Well, it brings our left brain and our right brain together, right? The polarity of the left and right brain together. We come into stillness, you just still the mind, you still the body, you get very quiet, and then you send your prayer out for support. And support will come, but you got to keep your eyes open for it, right? And to feel it. It does come. I can vouch for that. But we often forget that. Oh, there's support, right? Divine support for me. The ego has us looking at, there's no support. There's no support for me. There's no people around me. Okay? Wicked snail, remember that? Manifest gender arises and thinks. I don't know what that means. Okay. Okay, so remember to put your zodiac. Yeah. Okay. Sign when it comes up. And so this is what we're going to look at, right? That our weakness is actually our greatest strength. So what you've been told all your life, this is what deconditioning means. It's removing all these lies, all these beliefs that we've taken on, these identities that we believe are us, right? And one of them is the weakness, right? So maybe somebody has said to you as a child, you're too sensitive. You've got to get a thicker skin, right? And then you just take that in, hook, line, and sinker. That's what children do, right? Because they've got no rational mind to discern. They're just sponges taking everything in, especially that 0 to 7 years old. And then you see it as a weakness and you repress it, right? You judge it. Yeah, that's wrong. My parents told me that's wrong. My sensitivity's wrong. I'm going to stuff it down, right? I'm going to stuff it down. I'm going to repress it. I'm going to grow up and forget it was ever there. And then I'm going to project it onto other people that I'll start judging are weak. Oh, they're emotional. They're so weak. They're a basket case, right? We project all that stuff on the external. But in fact, that's probably your greatest strength, right? So it's about reclaiming these gifts and these strengths back. Yeah. Okay. So let's, okay, thanks, Robert. Robert's starting Pisces, Sun, and Rising. So let's start with Pisces then, since Pisces just spoke up here. Okay. I just want to get my overlays here. Okay. So we'll start with Pisces. Right there. So Saturn return, of course, is in your first house, right? So this is about you. So it's about your appearance, right? So there could be some, the shadow of weakness playing out in how you show up with the world, having some insecurity, because Saturn can bring up insecurity and fears, and it's all those repressed emotions will start to come up and surface with Saturn retrograde. And so this is around your appearance. You could be like hypercritical about your appearance, right? Not feeling attractive enough, right? Your body's not perfect. It doesn't have this. It doesn't have that. I wish it were this. I wish it were that. And seeing this as a weakness. And maybe you're criticized as a child, right? And not feeling like your body's supporting you even. Like, oh, my body, I'm starting to get pains and it's breaking down a little bit, right? I don't feel supported in my body, right? Things like that can come up. So what we do here is this is again, right, is to identify it. Oh, I'm feeling this lack of support in my body. And what do you do? What do you do, Pisces, right? Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn's in your sign. Compassion. Pisces is about compassion. It's about empathy. It's about forgiveness. It's about love, unconditional love, right? Even if I've got like half my face is burned up, and people are laughing at me and throwing rocks at me, telling me how ugly I am, I'm going to love myself, because this is the body that I was given in this lifetime, right? So it's to bring that love and compassion to yourself and to support you. It's to support you. And this brings the equality, right? Brings the gift of equality and tenderness, right? So 37 also, I forgot to mention, this connects with the cosmic mother. It's like the mother energy. It's the family, actually, the Trinity. So then there's an alchemy that's going on inside of us. So we all have this Trinity inside of us. We have the mother, right? This is divine mother, divine father. And these two come together. This is our masculine and feminine energy and purity. And then this, in turn, creates and alchemizes the divine child within us, right? Pisces rules children, right? The divine child. This is Christ consciousness, Pisces. Right? Christ consciousness is born. And what does that mean? This alchemy goes on inside of us. That solar plexus mutation moves this energy up, and then it opens up the heart. And this is Christ, the Christ consciousness, right? That we each have the potential, right? Every human on the planet has this. So that's what I would say to you, is to bring that compassion and empathy towards your body and who you are, and maybe show that more as a Pisces out in the world. Not be afraid that you won't be supported. Oh, if I show my sensitivity, I'll be walked all over, right? It's just to trust that this is what the world needs. The world needs a reminder. That's all I see. People need a reminder of God. That's what they need. And Pisces, this is your identity and how you show up, to show up more compassionately and showing more empathy and being a role model for other people, right? That's what I would say for you guys. And what else? Yeah. But first, and before you can show compassion to anyone else, you have to show it to yourself first. Yeah. Okay. And Saturn will bring up all that stuff, right? So that you can see it and feel it. Okay. Collagen Babe, can you relate? She's Pisces Sun and Robert Burke, right? Okay. Okay, let's go for Aries. I'm going to mix it up here. Okay. So Aries, of course, is the 12th house. So just what I was talking about is like, I don't feel supported. I don't feel supported. This comes from lifetimes of not feeling supported. Lifetimes and lifetimes of not feeling supported. So this is showing you that to be asked, like I said before, to ask the divine for support, Aries. Let the divine do some of the heavy lifting for you, that you don't need to do everything, right? So it's going to bring up these fears, right? And Aries will be like, what? Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, where is all this fear coming up? Because the 12th house is just like the house of mirrors. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's coming from deep, deep from your unconscious in your past lives, right? So it's also saying to relax. The 12th house is to relax and let the divine work for you, and you'll be amazed. So again, the prayer, put your two hands together, you still your mind, you still your body, you're not following your thoughts, you become very still, long, deep breathing, Like really get in your body, and then you ask for support, right? You ask for support. Because you may not be feeling supported, like I can't relax, I'm unable to sleep. I'm up at night. Well, this is what I do when I'm up at night. First thing I do is I look at the time and it's around 3 a.m. I know I'm supposed to get up and meditate. That's how I support myself, right? Is to go up and meditate. But if it's like 2 or 1:30 or something, then it's like I just put my prayer out, please. I just want to rest. I need to rest my body. And something will come over you, or intuitive guidance will come, like, oh, go have some magnesium, right? Something to help your body to relax. So that's what I see there. You can support yourself by supporting your sleep, right? You know all this. Turn the Wi-Fi off. Don't be looking at your phone until the last second where you're nodding off and going to sleep. Like, just make it sacred, right? You're sleeping in your bedroom. That's what this 12th house is saying to Aries. Okay. And maybe let's go to the weakness. The weakness is our strength. Your conditioning might have been like, no, it's not okay for you to relax. You got to be working, And maybe it's your strength, Aries, to relax, right? That's a strength of yours. Because remember, when we relax and we get a good night's sleep, it's really serving our soul, right? You're supporting your soul. Yeah. And that's your true strength. Right, is your soul. The weakness is when we're in our ego. That's when we're truly weak, and our world is upside down. It's like you're only strong when you're in your ego. When you're in your ego, that's not true. You're weak. Okay. So let's go for Taurus. In Taurus, Saturn Retrograde is taking place in your 11th house. So this is your friendships. Or if you work on the internet, this is like the people that follow you. The 11th house is your network of people, or the groups of people that you're with, either working or friendly, right? So not feeling supported by your friends, right? Or your network. Whatever that looks like, I don't feel supported by these people. Maybe I'm the one that's got to be the strong one all the time. They're the foul weather friends. They only show up when they want something from me, when they need my support. And when I need support, nobody's around for me. When you help everybody and their dog move, and then when you need to move, nobody can be found. Like, that could be going on for you. Right? Not feeling supported. And maybe the weakness is like, why do I keep attracting these weak friends? Well, it's showing you something about you, right? That maybe there's a weakness that you're judging within yourself, right? Maybe you're choosing the wrong kinds of people, Taurus, right? You're choosing the wrong kinds of people. Because you need to be the one in control, right? As a Taurus, I need to be the one that's got it all together, and I'm the one that helps other people. There's a power structure there, isn't there? Right? Maybe growing up, it's Pisces, right? Pisces rules your 11th house. That people disappear, right? It's ruled by Neptune, right? Friends kind of come and go for you. And maybe you saw that as a weakness. You blamed yourself. Like, why can't I keep friends? I'm a loyal sign. Why can't I keep friends? Well, friends come and go, right? It's depending on your karma. It's depending on your life lessons, right? The spiritual lessons that you're here to learn. And certain people come into your life, and some stay, and some go. But don't be judging yourself like, oh, I'm a bad friend, or there's something wrong with me that I can't keep my friends, right? So to me, it's like taking away the ego that's pointing, there's no support for me, that I have no friends, I have no real friends, and bring it back To you, I've got to be my own friend. I have to be my own best friend, right? I can't rely on other people, and I can't have them rely on me in unhealthy ways, right? My true support is my spirit, right? My soul. I got to be best friends with my soul first. And then you'll start attracting, right, true friends in your life, and they won't be hooky, right? There won't be a tit for tat ego friendship. It will be a real, you want a friend of consciousness, right? That's on the path with you. Yeah. And more equal, right? There's the gift, right? Equality. More equal give and take in terms of your friendship. Yeah. And just to mention too, right, you've got Venus in the 4th house, Taurus, is in there for 4 months. Venus and Leo, that's a nice transit, right? So that's going to be helping with your emotions, right? Healing your emotions, healing your childhood. If you've had wounding around this, having friends, right, growing up. Because some people have got, you look on Facebook, they've got 50,000 friends, right? Or even 1,000 friends. Who can have 1,000 friends? It's impossible. I say if you've got 1 or 2 good friends, you're doing well, Okay. Anything else for that? So all I want to say, when you see lack of support outside of you, if that's what you're seeing, right? Remember that this is a mirror, Taurus, right? The trigger is a mirror. So whatever you're seeing out there is showing you, especially with relationships, it's showing your own relationship with yourself. I'm not feeling supported by my friends. We'll turn it inward, and it's like, how am I not being a good friend to myself? How am I not supporting myself? And listen to the divine, right? Right? Maybe you're not listening. What makes a good friend? Oh, they're there for me and they listen. And what am I doing with the divine? I'm not listening to my intuition. I'm not listening to the divine. I'm not sitting, right? I'm too distracted with other things, complaining and blaming, So look at it like that too, right? For a hot tip there. Okay. Anything else for Taurus? I think that's it for Taurus. Okay, there's Gemini. In Gemini, Saturn retrograde is happening in your 10th house, Saturn retrograde. So not feeling supported by your father or a father figure in your life, or some kind of authority figure, not feeling supported. That could even be the government too, 10th house. Some person or some institution you're not feeling supported by, right? Or you fear there's a lack of support. So this is also soul purpose. Maybe Gemini is the one that's getting the intuitive guidance to leave their job and really step up into an authority position, like taking your rightful place in the collective, right? Being called to do your soul purpose. And then you're feeling this lack of support. No, well, I don't know. I don't think I'll be supported. I won't get that position, or I won't be supported financially, and all the fears start to come up, right? That's the ego. That's the ego keeping you from moving through this emotional body, which is to face the fears, right? Face the fears. Fear of responsibility even, right? But it's fear of support. The divine won't support me. The collective won't support me. The material world won't support me. And this, because it's the 10th house, it also could go back to your childhood, not feeling supported by your father. Maybe your father wasn't present in your life, or maybe you were brought up by a single mom, or whatever that is, right? Any career stuff, like career issues around career, you go back to the father. Like it's really issues around your father. Remember with the cause and effect that I talked about, right? That's the cause. Your stuck emotions from childhood get manifested on the external. That's the effect. These are the surface physical details. So Gemini, it's career. It will come up. Well, all the signs actually, if you have issues around career, right? I can't seem to get my career together. No matter how I try, it's like, oh, it's about my father. I have to deal with my father. You deal with those old past stuff, forgiveness, right? Doing the inner work, and then everything starts to unfold because you don't need to see it anymore. The effect is different, right? Go to the cause, heal that, and then the effect changes, right? So look at the weakness as our strength. So what were you told, right? What were you told growing up, Gemini? Were you told that this is as good as it gets? You know, like the bar, your father put the bar so low for you. You can only hope to get this far in life, right? Well, you take that on, right? You totally take that belief on and those thoughts on. So, or you're too weak. You can't be in a position of authority. You know, you don't have a massive ego on legs, right? You're not competitive. You don't have that dog eat dog thing. You're not going to last. Just things like that, right? To dig up that your weakness is your strength, right? Your weakness, and you've got Pisces there in the 10th house, so you're going to be compassionate. If you're a boss or an authority figure, you're going to be compassionate. You're going to have empathy. This is the new way. This is our new way, right? None of this, like, don't bring your problems into the workplace. You need to put yourself in a box. You got your private self, right? When you close your door, and that's your private self. And then when you're in the public, this is who you are, right? And you don't show empathy, and you don't do this, and you don't, because it affects the bottom line, right? What I see here is that you're going to turn that into a strength because people want that. They want to feel valued. They want to feel seen, right? That they're human. They want to have a compassionate workplace. And people will do the worst possible jobs ever, and they say they enjoy it. It's like, why do you enjoy this horrible job? The people. I hear that all the time. It's the people that I work with. Right? I love the people that I work with. I can do the job. The job doesn't really matter what I do. I just like being around these people. So Gemini, you can offer that, right? So really dig up. This is what I'm saying to everybody. Dig up what you've been said is a weakness, and it's your strength. It's your strength, and you will be supported. Anything else for Gemini? No, nothing else for Gemini. Not at the moment. Okay. So let's go for Cancer. Right here. And Cancer's in the 9th house. So the 9th house is how we see the world. Right, Cancer? It's how we see the world. And so if you're seeing the world from a pessimistic, and Pisces, the shadow of Pisces, okay? Maybe you were idealistic as a child, because Pisces can be idealistic and naive and gullible, right? And maybe that's what you were taught. Right? Your caregivers told you that. Like you can't think the best of people. You can't think that all people are good. You can't believe that our world can live in peace. Right? You're in fantasy land. This is how the world works. Right? So making your idealism a weakness, right? Now, and Cancer is very sensitive anyway, right? So right? So you put the guard up because you're listening to that crazy ego, right? The ego that's telling you got to compete, you got to struggle, right? Everybody's out to get you. I can't trust people. I can't trust the collective. I can't trust my family. I can't trust my community. This is the shadow, right? The shadow of weakness. And so to see this as a strength, right? This is vision. Ninth house is vision, right? It's vision. It's like, this is how I see the world, and I'm holding this vision. We need more people holding that vision for what the world could be, the potential of the world, right? Could be loving and compassionate and peaceful, right? Where people matter more than money, more than pieces of paper in the material world, where our spirituality matters more than the material world. So that's what I would look at. And then the fear is, well, nobody's going to support that vision because it's like everybody's out for themselves, right? Then you start to buy into it. Don't listen to this. This is just the fear, right? So you're digging Saturn retrograde. I'm digging this repressed fear up. I'm digging this conditioning up so that I can truly be myself and then embrace the strength, right? Become aligned more with your spirit, with your soul, and that it's a strength. Remember what I said? When you're with your ego, you're weak. You're totally weak when you're with your ego. It's everything we've been taught, right? It's been a lie. When you're with your soul, this is your true strength. That's your true strength, right? What else? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I have there. The ninth house is expansion. So expand into that, into this new story. Like, what's your story, right? I do this when I'm looking at the news and stuff. It's like, that's not my story. I'm not choosing this story, this dystopian story. If enough of us did that, I mean, it's probably will manifest for some people, but not all of us. We get to choose. We need to remember that we're eternal beings having human experiences, right? And so you get to choose. As the creator, the artist of your life, it's like, no, I'm not choosing this timeline, this dystopian timeline. I'm going to choose something else. And we need more of those visionaries and storytellers coming out, right? So Cancer, this could be part of your mission, right? To like tune in. Am I here to share my vision, what I see? Okay. Okay, is that for Cancer? Oh, I just want to add too, a little tidbit for Cancer. Venus is going through your second house. That's the moolah. Venus always brings gifts, so you got money coming to you too. But embrace this new vision, right? This new vision, that prosperity and abundance is for me too, right? Yeah. And optimism. We don't need you, Cancer, going down into the pit, right? Into the darkness. Nobody wants that story, right? We want the big story, the grand story. Okay. Anything else for that? That's it. Okay, let's go for Leo. Okay. So Leo's got Venus in Leo for 4.5 months in the first house. So there's more gifts, right, for Leo in terms of your appearance and how you show up in the world, your charisma too. It's in the 8th house. That's right. So Leo, rising sun or moon, has the Saturn retrograde in the 8th house. So not feeling supported by others. So this could be your marriage partner. Not feeling supported by banks or institutions. It's about receiving, not feeling supported. Like I'm not, it's been like Saturn doesn't stop, it delays, right? So there's been a delay of money flowing into you and I'm not feeling supported. It's bringing up all these fears of lack of support. And just because it's the 8th house, Leo, they're going to be deep fears, like deep psychological fears, right? Kind of similar to the 12th house, but like really, really terrors and phobias. That's what lives in the 8th house. The negative, right? Those negative emotions can come up of, I don't feel support. And take this even further. I've been abandoned by God. I've been abandoned by God, right? I don't even feel supported by the divine, right? I'm not feeling this flow, right? So it can bring, so why is that happening, Leo? Well, the cause and the effect, right? Where's the cause? It's all originating. This is the cause, and the effect is the material world, the surface physical details. It's coming from this solar plexus, the 0 to 7-year-old, these stuck emotions, right? Where you didn't feel supported as a child, right? You felt abandoned as a child. Well, what's going to come up? Some scenario. And what a great scenario to come up with. Money's not coming in. It's going to bring up all those fears of survival, because it's the other house, it's opposite the 2nd house, fear of survival, fear that God's really not with me, right? I'm all alone. All that stuff can come up, right? But it takes these circumstances to bring this up, right? To bring these deep fears up. Because Saturn wants these fears to go, right? Because there's attachments. It's letting go of attachments too, right? Attachments to the money is always flowing in, and I feel safe and secure. And that's not real, because it's something outside of you that the ego's looking to. Well, it's this thing that makes me feel secure. And that's an illusion. That's totally illusion, because everything that we see out here in the external world comes and goes. It has a birth date and it has an expiry date. But you, as the eternal soul, were never born, never die. You don't have a birth date as an eternal soul. There's no birth date in infinity. And there's no expiry date or death date in infinity. It goes on and on and on and on. So do you see, like, Saturn's breaking you out of these illusions, right? It's bringing you into reality. So see this as a blessing. Okay, what's my real support then? It's not what that ego's been telling me. The ego's tells all of us, you just need enough money in the bank account, and that's your security, and it's BS. You know? Well, what's my real security? Well, it's my eternal self. That's my strength. It's not my weakness. And we've been taught this. Right? Religion, most people that practice religion, they go to church every Sunday and then they forget about it, right? That's not real spirituality. We've been taught, like, to believe and trust and have faith in something that we can't see. That's the ego, right? It's crazy. You're delusional. You're crazy. It's the upside down world. That makes you weak, right? So the ego's saying that you're weak because you believe in this, right? But actually, it's your strength. It's your greatest strength. You're weak when you're leaning on that ego, right? In the material world for your security. So yeah. So it's uncovering. What I love about this for Leo is that it's going to really bring up these things that psychology. It's like, why do I do the things I do? It's going to bring up stuff for you to look at, right? And it's Saturn in Pisces, right? So Pisces rules your 8th house anyway. It's breaking away all those, dissolving these structures that are not real for you. Yeah. And then you'll come into this gift of equality and tenderness. So have that tenderness and equality towards yourself, right? And know that, because it's Pisces ruling your 8th house, because it's the house of investment, that the divine is invested in you. Just having that placement, right? That Pisces rules your 8th house. Okay. Is that it for Leo? Yeah. Okay. There's Leo. And let's go for Virgo. And Virgo is, of course, in your 7th house. So this is your relationships, right? So not feeling supported by your relationship, Virgo, right? This fear. And so it's relationships, so it's gender. 37 is gender. So maybe like wanting to break. This is why we're seeing all this gender stuff out in the world, because it's coming up to be cleared, like what's real and what's not, what's an illusion, what is gender. We're asking those questions. And you have to look at the world as there's nothing to fix, Virgo. Virgo likes to fix everything, right? There's nothing to fix out here. It's just a mirror. It's reflecting back to us what's going on in the collective unconscious, right? So maybe you're going through that yourself, like questioning, well, why do I do these things? And why does my spouse, my partner, do this? Is it gender related? And it doesn't matter if you're in same sex or opposite sex, but we're attracted to opposite gender, right? Gender is how we express those energies, right? Looking at that and and Saturn will bring that up. Saturn retrograde is going to bring all that up for you, right? But not feeling supported by your relationship. And so this, of course, right, which I mentioned earlier, any relationship stuff that we have, like relationship conflict or relationship problems that we have out here in the world, it's a mirror for our relationship with the divine. This is our primary relationship, is you and the divine. That's your primary relationship. So if it's like my partner, I don't feel supported by my partner. I want to do these things, right? Maybe I want to pursue something, and he or she's just not there for me, right? Not there for me, not supportive, not listening, doesn't give me the empathy that I'm seeking, doesn't give me the compassion that I'm looking for. Well, then you have to go inside. It's like, okay, how is that a mirror for me and my relationship with the divine? How am I not supporting my relationship with the divine, right? Maybe I started meditating and I dropped it like a hot potato, because look at ways that you can support yourself, right? So here's the hot tip. So whatever you're complaining about what your partner's not giving to you, it's showing you what you're not giving to yourself, right? Oh, I'm not giving myself compassion. I'm not giving myself empathy, right? So that's what I would say with Virgo, is to look at ways that you can support yourself, and that will bring in the gift of equality. It's taking that finger that's blaming, and that's not you, that's just the ego, and it's taking it back inside. It's like, okay, how can I support myself? How am I listening to that ego that's saying, you can't do that? Maybe you want to go on a workshop or a retreat or something. I can't do that. My partner will never let me. I hear this from people so many times, people that I work with. He would never let me do that. And it's like, have you said that this is what you want? Or no, I just know. Well, that's listening to the ego, right? When you're in your strength, when you're aligned with your soul and your intuition is saying you need to go here and here for your spiritual evolution, you're in your strength. But when you're with that ego and you're listening to that ego, I could never do that. He'd never let me. That's the ego, and that's when you're weak, right? So Virgo, you want to look at ways that you can strengthen yourself. Don't be looking to your partner to empower you and strengthen you and give you permission to do anything, right? So you've got to start with yourself, right? And you're here, the archetype of Virgo is all about the purity of your soul. And that's what you protect, and that's what you align yourself with. The purity of your soul. No one can own you. No one can own your soul, right? This is what you're learning as an archetype, Sun, Moon, Rising, Virgo. Anything else there? And whatever your partner is saying to you, you're weak. Look at it this way too, right? If you're getting projected upon by your partner, which is just a reflection of what's going on in your own head, right? You're weak because you do this. You're weak because you listen to your intuition. Take it inside again. And it's like, oh, I must believe that because this person is echoing it to me. Some part of me believes it, else I wouldn't even hear it. It wouldn't even get in, to look at that too. That it's actually a strength, right? That I listen to my intuition is a strength, right? Is a strength, not a weakness, right? I don't go through the pros and cons list. Virgo loves to do that, right? I don't go through the pros and cons list. I'm really embracing Pisces, right? The archetype of Pisces, and surrendering, listening to my intuition, living more from my heart, right? It doesn't make you weak. So maybe you're reclaiming stuff from childhood, right, Virgo? Yeah, that it's not a weakness, right? It's a strength. And Virgos can be really hard on themselves. They can be very, very critical, like self-critical. Is to watch what the ego is criticizing you the most about. That's going to be a strength. You want to flip it, right? So just flip everything that you've been taught that is a weakness. Okay. Anything else for Virgo? No. Okay. Let's go for Libra. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Libra's the scales. Okay. So Libra is in the 6th house. So feeling weak about your health, right? So Saturn retrograde moving through your 6th house, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So this is your health or your work, things that you do every day, right? Every day, the 6th house, not feeling supported maybe in your work, not feeling supported by your health. It's like, oh, I have this ongoing health thing. I just get over this cold or whatever. And then there's something else that pops up. I'm not feeling supported. I'm not feeling supported by my health, right? So the thing that I talked about before is we're going through a huge purge, right? And the purge is like we're being squeezed. Each one of us is being squeezed. And what's being squeezed out of us is our inauthenticity. What's not us anymore is being squeezed out because it's not in truth, right? So this can come through the physical, right? The purge can come through the actual physical, your physical cells. So releasing toxins, and this can manifest as like, flus and colds, or your energy level is down one day, it's up the other day, right? And seeing this as a weakness, right? So maybe you've been taught this when you were a child. Maybe you were a little kid. It took you a long, you're a late bloomer before you reached puberty or whatever. You had a lot of illnesses when you were a child, and that you were said, oh, you're weak because you're not healthy. You're always sick. Whatever lies you've been told, right? Because parents can project their stuff on you too, Libra. Well, you want to flip this. What's your weakness in the 6th house? Health and work. What's the weakness? What you've been told is a weakness. It's going to come up with Saturn retrograde. It's going to bring it up in your face so that you can see it. And then you reframe it as a strength. Oh, I'm just moving. Things are moving through me. I'm purging. I'm detoxifying right now, right? I'm letting go of everything that's not me. I'm aligning with my soul. And then it's actually a strength to have Pisces, right? In my 6th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually a strength to have Pisces in my 6th house, right? So water is really good for you in terms of your health, Libra, to be around water or swimming. That will help you. Epsom salt baths will really help you with your health. Spirituality, of course, like meditation, will really help you too with your health during this time. And that you are supported, but in Pisces ways, through water and through the divine. Yeah. Yeah. And it's, yeah. What else for Libra there? Okay. And just because Venus is transiting your 11th house, right? Venus gives gifts. So the gifts may come through your friends. Some kind of gift about your health will come through your friends. Because Venus makes things easier. So to be look out for that. And also this could be your work too, the way you work. Maybe you can't work the way you used to work. Maybe you used to be a workaholic and now you can't, right? Because sometimes we overcompensate. If you were told as a child, well, you're weak, right? You don't have the vitality, and then you overcompensate, right? You're always trying to prove that you're not this and you're not that. You right? So look at ways how you can support your body, support your health, and being compassionate, right? Pisces, compassionate with your body, empathetic towards yourself and your healing process. This is the healing house, you know? Yeah. Anything else for Libra? Anyway, Saturn's going to bring it up. It will put a tiger on your path, you know, to deal with this. But remember, it's all about going back to the emotions. This is the cause, and then this is the effect with your health, right, or your workplace. These are surface physical details, but you go back to this, the cause. There's an emotional root to it. Okay. That's Libra. Let's go for the Scorpio, the Scorpions. Okay. So, Saturn retrograde in your 5th house. So, this is children. If you have children, right, we'll show this. Not feeling supported by your children. Not feeling supported by your romantic partner, because the fifth house can represent a romantic partner, somebody you're dating, you know. You're not in like an official committed relationship, like you're not married, but you're so not feeling supported by this romantic partner. Not having fun. Saturn's in there, right? Not having fun. So you may not even have a romantic partner, right? Because it's delays. Remember, Saturn delays everything. Doesn't stop it, but it delays it. So there's so the way that you used to have fun, right? Maybe the way you used to have fun was drinking and partying, and right? And now that's completely changing. Saturn is like, no. You can't do this anymore. It's not aligned with your true self, right? Whatever that is, the way that you used to have fun. So delaying that, right? So that can make you kind of down, like emotionally, right? Not feeling supported. So you want to go Scorpio, you want to go to the cause, which is emotional, and then the effect is the surface details. So something around your childhood, because it's the 5th house, right? Your inner child, right? Maybe, right, maybe here's a scenario I'll throw out. Maybe your family, there was no time for play. Like your mom was so busy all the time working, she had to work 2 jobs, right? Just to pay the bills. And whenever she was around you, she was a grump, right? It's like super serious. There was no time for play. It could bring that stuff up, that needs to be cleared and integrated, that it's okay to have fun, right? It's okay. It's not just all about work, you know? So that you can have fun too. So weakness. So maybe let's look at the weakness in the fifth house, where you taught to have fun and to play was a weakness, you know, because of the seriousness around you, right? And now you want to reframe that as a strength, right? You were taught that this was weak. You should be doing this. You should be vacuuming the house for your mother, right? She's busy working. You should do this. There's always a job to do, right? So we internalize this as adults. So now to look at that, no, this isn't a weakness. That's all my conditioning, right? It's inauthentic to me, Scorpio. And that my weakness is actually a strength. So what were you told as a child, right? So in this case, in this example, right? It's like to look at that, no, fun is a strength, right? Often people who say that people have said, great masters have said that they've had experienced enlightenment and they couldn't stop laughing, right? That fun and laughter is a strength, right? You're aligning with your soul, right? You're aligning with the divine here. That's your strength. Your weakness is the ego. And the ego doesn't like having fun. The ego's idea of fun is teasing other people, putting other people down, making jokes, mean jokes about people. That's the ego's idea of fun. Winning at all costs. That's the ego's idea of fun, right? The spirit's idea of fun is everybody gets elevated, right? Everybody is lifted up, right? That's the spirit's idea of fun. So that's what I see is happening for you with Saturn is going to bring this up, but it's good, right? It's going to bring that like repression and like, oh God, this is how I used to feel like when I was a kid, right? When my parents were workaholics and they had no time for me and I wasn't allowed to laugh. I wasn't allowed to have fun, right? Because it triggered them, how miserable they were, right? So it's going to bring all that up, Scorpio, but all you have to do is see it. Oh, this is exactly what Michael was talking about, right? You got June till November, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to feel it. What got repressed, right? Maybe I'm depressed. I've been depressed. Well, depression is anger turned inward. I'm going to feel anger, like that was so wrong. They stole my childhood, whatever it is, right? And then you just feel it. You feel it to the end. And then you expand, right? We're evolving through this emotional body. So it's going through there, not listening to the ego. Go through the emotional body. This is the evolutionary process that we're in right now, right? We're going from physical, mental, emotional into vibrational and frequency. This is the path of awareness that we're traveling. So bringing that compassion to your inner child. This is inner child work. Right? Fifth house. And tenderness to yourself too, nurturing yourself and having fun, right? Having fun. Yeah. Okay. That's Scorpio. Who's not? Wicked Snail is not having any fun. Well, it's time for you to start having fun, Wicked Snail. And you got that laughing cat, right? Yeah. Yeah. This is the thing, right? Sarab Dialkar says, yeah, it's individual work. It's true. Nobody can get in there and do the feeling for you. You know, it can be a lonely path, but when you're in the ego, right? When you're in the ego and you're alone, it's miserable. It's loneliness. But when you're aligned with your soul and in spirit, who you really are, your eternal self, then it's a joy. Then you're in joy. You really enjoy your own solitude and your own energy, right? It brings a lot of joy to you. So that's how you know. It's like, oh, I'm lonely and I wish somebody, that's the ego. You're listening to that ego and you're not going to the depths, right? You're not walking through that tunnel to right through the emotional body, because that's what's awaiting you, all that light, right? On the other side, and that's you. Okay, Sagittarius. What do we got for Sagittarius? So Sagittarius is Saturn retrograde in your fourth house. That's your mother, right? Your mother. So you may feel a lack of support from your mother. It's also your home, right? So you can feel a lack of support in your home life, right, with your mother. And the weakness here is, and this could go back to childhood, right? So the cause effect here. I'm not feeling supported by these mother type figures. Maybe your mother's passed on, Sagittarius, but you have a mother type figure in your life. And it's like, oh, I don't feel supported by her. It's all about her. She doesn't even consider me or consider my feelings, right? That's the effect. The cause is back to when you were a little tiny tot, right? 0 to 7 years old, where you didn't feel supported by your mother. You weren't nurtured by your mother. She was unable to nurture you, right? Because of her own wounding that she didn't address, right? So this is what you do, is like, oh, I'm getting triggered by the lack of support from these mother type figures in my life. It's like pointing you back, go back here, and to feel this and to give yourself what your mother couldn't give you, right? This is the thing. A lot of people spend their whole life trying to get something they didn't get as a child, right? That unconditional love, when it's your job to give it to yourself now, Sagittarius. So that's what I would look at. And this is how you support yourself. So it's in the fourth house. So you have to support yourself emotionally, supporting yourself emotionally, right? And to not look at this as a weakness, Sagittarius, to take time. Sagittarius likes to be flitting around, right? They're like the travelers. They always want to be stimulated onto the next thing, right, Sagittarius? And maybe they look at this as a weakness, right? So maybe your mother was over emotional even, like, let's go there, over emotional. And then you judged her as a child, she's weak, right? She's weak because she wants to stay home all the time. She doesn't want to be out flitting around like me, right? She's weak. Whatever the judgment was, right? To bring that back. So that's how it can work too, right? It's projecting onto other people. That it's actually a strength. It's a strength of yours to know when to stop, right? You know what? I'm not going to go to this party. I've been socializing for, 5 months straight. I haven't had any time to myself. That's not a weakness to go and say, you know what? I need just a night on my own, right? In my own home, in my own self. I need to check in with me and how I'm doing, right? This is how you can support yourself emotionally. I'm just kind of all over the place there with Sagittarius on this. Yeah. But it's the equality, right? Your personal life versus your social life. So that's what I see, is like you need to support yourself by going inward. Not all the time. You don't have to hibernate for 6 months, but just to bring that more into balance. And 12, 11, 10, 9. Yeah. And you've got Venus coming through your ninth house, which is going to expand your point of view. So your how you see the world, it's going to elevate in your story. So you got that working for you, right? To reframe this. What was I told is, what do I consider a weakness? Because it's going to have to do with your mother and the emotions. What was I told was a weakness when I was a child? And you're going to flip it, right? And you've got the ninth house helping you out, Sagittarius, right? To get to the truth. Remember, Saturn is all about getting to the truth. Okay. What else for Sagittarius? So it's in the 4th house, Pisces, water, right? Nurture yourself with water, bathtub, go by the beach, by the ocean's really good for you. Feet, foot massage, right? Pisces rules feet too. That will help ground you. Yeah, just be at home. Being at home, and this in turn is like being in home in your heart, right? That's your real home, Sagittarius. Not flitting around. Okay. Okay, that's it for Sagittarius. Let's go for the Capricorns. Capricorn, I believe Pluto moved into Capricorn like today, right? Yeah, it's June 11th. So Pluto's back in your 1st house, only for 6 months or so, and then it will be moving on to Aquarius for the next 20 plus years, right? So this is just polishing up. Since 2008, Pluto's been in Capricorn, and then March 23rd to June 11th, you had a little respite. Moved into Aquarius, but it's moved back to Capricorn just to do some polishing up, right? It's like reviewing some things, polishing it up, but it's about you. So I'm sure you're a different person. The Capricorns that I know, they're completely different people now, right? Pluto like changed, it transforms everything it touches, and it was in your 1st house. So that's identity, right? Your body. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you've got lack of support in your environment. So Capricorn not feeling supported in your environment, whatever environment. This is beyond your home. That's 4th house. Right? But just the environment that you live in, that you move in, not feeling supported there. Feeling the fear that there's not going to be a support for me. Siblings too, if you have siblings, it rules siblings. Also feeling the fear of lack of support if I communicate. If I communicate honestly, I won't be supported by other people. I'll be attacked. I'll be ridiculed. I'll be outcast, whatever the fears are, Capricorn, for expression. And maybe if we go back to childhood for you, right? Remember the effect is, okay, I'm in my environment and I'm communicating and I'm getting the silent treatment. I'm getting the stink eye. I'm not feeling supported, right? Well, that's just the physical effects. The cause goes back to here, 0 to 7 years old. And maybe when I did speak from 0 to 7, I got the backhand, right? I said something, I expressed something. Remember, children should be seen and not heard, that old chestnut. And maybe I got the backhand, right? So I silence myself, I censor myself, Capricorn, right? And this is bringing these old pains back up. So that's a scenario. You need to dig this out yourself. But Saturn is your ruling planet, right? Saturn retrograde is going to bring that up for you. It's going to bring you a scenario, right? Very clearly in the material world, right? And it will be like you're around your environment and communication, how you communicate, right? Or even if you might have been called stupid, because it rules your thinking too. Your early childhood development in school, you're called stupid because you didn't memorize. That's all school is, memorizing and regurgitating. Like a parrot could be like a honor student, right? A parrot. That's what you're doing, is just parroting back. But you were projected upon and it's called stupid, so you've got this within you and it's buried deep within you, right? And then this is a fear, and then you manifest something. Saturn manifests something for you where you feel all these feelings of stupid come up, right? That's been buried. So remember that Saturn wants to get to the truth. So it's bringing up that stuff that's not you, right? That's not aligned with your authentic self, so that you can feel it. So shadow work, right, is just to spot it. Oh, Michael was talking about this. I see it. Oh my God, here it is. It's going to be 3rd house related, right? I see it. And then I feel it, right? I feel the content of it, all the emotions that are coming up, early childhood development in school, right? My thinking, and I let that go. That's the work, right? And then you're through to the other side. That's the expansion, right? The eternal self, right? And this is your weakness, is your strength, right? So let's go back to the school example, right? Back to the 0 to 7-year-old. Well, I was called stupid. Why was I called stupid? Because I couldn't memorize things. Well, what does that mean? Well, I think for myself. I don't have room in my brain for that. It's like the brain like rebels from it, is rebelling it, you know? What's the point of this? I'm going to memorize this and forget it tomorrow, but I get a good grade, right? So it's like reframing it. It's like a strength. Oh, I was unable to be indoctrinated in the government indoctrination camp, right? From 0 to 12, right? Grade 0 to 12 or grade 1 to 12, right? So just to reframe it, whatever that weakness is actually a strength. So this is a strength in communication, right? But it's about letting go of this filter, right? Where you're self-censoring. That's what I see here with Capricorn, right? That it's a strength. It's a strength. Because we aren't a one-size-fits-all. This is the thing, right? The cross of the sleeping phoenix, the age of Aquarius. It's all about our uniqueness. We have to embrace our uniqueness. And we're not a one-size-fits-all, you know? Each one of us is a unique expression of the divine. So support yourself. I'm going to work through this fear. I really want to, this is what I feel I want to speak. And right, your throat chakra, this is how I always know I have to speak. My throat chakra will start pounding. That's the divine saying, speak. You need to speak a truth right now, right? So to obey that and trust, right, that the words are going to flow. And don't fear that there's going to be a lack of support for truth. There's never a lack of support for truth. The only thing that's not supporting truth is that ego, because he's not made. He's not made from truth. It's all fear. It's all insecurity. That's what the ego is made of. That's the contents of the ego. And it's not real. Truth, the other side, Satnam, right? That is definitely supported 100%. You're going to feel supported when you are in truth, because the whole universe is in truth. That's going to be the last thing standing is truth, right? So to trust that, that's your strength, right? This is the weakness that's keeping you away from these emotional wounds for Capricorn, right? And I love that quote. I forget it. I'm probably not going to be accurate with it. It's about speak the truth even if your voice is shaking, right? Yeah, and it will start to shake. So you may have some throat stuff or throat stuff coming up too. That always means that you're not speaking the truth when you have throat problems, right? Anything else for Capricorn? Okay. Yeah, Dania says Capricorn. Yeah, reports. Do it, Dania. Start speaking the truth. Experiment. Yeah, communication stuff. It's time for us all to start speaking the truth, not self-censoring. This is what these negative forces want from us. This is why the crazy making and the propaganda out there, right? On social media, all media. Don't believe what you see with your two eyes. It's all total gaslighting. And it's to get you to not to censor yourself, right? Censor yourself. We don't need that. We need truth. People to speak the truth. Doesn't mean you run out there with your placard, but it means just in your everyday life, Capricorn, because it's the third house. It's your environment. It's like start speaking the truth with your friends, your family, the people that you see every day. Just try it and see. And you'll see that this is all an illusion, that you're not going to be supported to actually speak, right? The truth. That's what I say. Capricorn got me all riled up. Okay, let's go for for Aquarius. For Aquarius. So Aquarius is in the second house, and this is Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising. So this is not Saturn retrograde. There is not feeling supported in your finances, Aquarius. Not feeling supported in your bank account, the money's right coming in. Having self-worth issues come up, right? So this, remember, I just want to remind people here that we're evolving through the emotional body. So the emotional trigger, this is the solar plexus, this is the cause, right? And then the effect is there's no money. I don't have any money, right? And the money's not coming in, right? This is the effect. But this is the root cause. So the easy way, before you manifest more and more and more of this so that you can get at these feelings, right? These emotions can be cleared, is to go back here, is to feel that, right? So what was I going to say about that? And sometimes that's the only way. Like, it's self-worth. Second house is all about self-worth. It's about self-reliance, right? And so we can trick ourselves. Oh no, I'm totally I feel good about what I do, and I'm, and I've good self-esteem, and I know my worth. But then when the rubber hits the road, when Saturn comes in and says, okay, let's put your money where your mouth is, right? I'm going to take away this money. I'm going to delay it. That's what Saturn does. I'm going to delay the money. And then it all comes up, right? That's been hidden from you. All those feelings, right? The lack of self-worth will come up to the surface. So it's a blessing, right? It's a gift, but into the ego, it's not a gift. It's like, I need to get more money. I need more money. I need this, but it's running away, right? It's keeping you from going in. This is the work. This is your inner work, Aquarius, right? So it stops you from entering and it's distracting you. You just need this. This is the problem. If you had money, all this stuff will go away. No, it won't go away. It might get buried and delayed, right, to work with, but it's coming up now so that you can see it for the illusion it really is, that it's really about you really, right? Really being, having self-esteem, really knowing your own self-worth. And your self-worth is your divinity. It's priceless. You can't put a price tag on your divinity. That's your true security. And then everything else is manifested from that place, right? Your eternal self. Yeah. Right there. So right, all the greeblies are going to start coming up in the second house stuff. All those fears, right? All those repressed fears. What else did I want to say about that with the weaknesses or strength? So what were you told about your self-worth, right? Maybe it was like you can only earn this much money, right? You're only worthy of this, right? Maybe that I pay my bills and a little bit more, but I can never have this, and I can never have that, and I can never have that. That could be the manifestation of your self-worth, that you were taught like you're only worthy of this. Or you let other people dictate your worth. Well, I get a job, and whatever they're willing to give me, I'll take. Like a beggar, right? Like not knowing your sense of self-worth, right? These are all like effects of what's going on inside you, not like afraid of asking for a raise or a promotion or stepping out, being an entrepreneur, right? And Aquarius is very independent and stuff, so they don't want to look at this. Aquarius archetype, they don't want to look at this, but this needs to come up and be cleared because we're purging, right? We're purging everything that's not authentic to us, right? So to look at this as a blessing. Don't go into like this is a money problem. Go into like this is a self-worth problem, right? That's the problem. And the problem, every problem can be rooted back to this. Leaning on the ego. That's your weakness. Listening to that ego and its strategies about how, right, to make money and earn money. Don't listen to it. Feel. You want to expand into the priceless, the valuable, and this is inside you, right? Your eternal self. Okay. Anything else? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you've got Venus moving through your 7th house, right? So Venus always gifts through partnership. So some kind of help will come through partnership, right? But don't expect them to solve the problem for you. You got to solve your own problem and just like bring it on. Bring it on. I want all these stuck emotions that aren't me, that have been driving me. I'm not even aware of it because it's so unconscious. That ego is so buried within me that I'm so driven by it, right? Of like trying to prove that I'm worthy, you know? And now it's coming up to be cleared. It's a gift. It's a gift. So it's not about the money. It's about going inside and dealing with these self-worth issues. Okay. Okay, everybody. So that worked out well. I think the timing was right for the live stream. It was the perfect time. So just a reminder, I've got the Prosperity in Your Chart webinar series, right? It's going to be 8 to 10, probably 10 hours, knowing me. So meditations, and we'll look at your unique chart. So this is perfect if you can't afford a one-on-one reading, but you're still going to get unique information for you to set you on your compass. Oh, go here. This is how I earn money. This is how I receive money. This is the best relationship for me with abundance and prosperity, right? Because self-reliance, we have to be self-reliant for the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So that, and then if you want to go deeper into your emotional work, the 6 module Awakening This Sleeping Phoenix is only $99, and everything's in there. All the childhood stuff, the parent stuff, all of it. Okay? So I will see you soon, I hope, sooner than later. Okay? So take care, and yeah, and everything is fine. Everything is okay. What's going on in the world? You focus on yourself and your healing. This is an opportune time for all of us to really step in to our true identity. Maybe for the first time in many, like millions of lifetimes. We don't know. Okay? Okay, Sat Nam Aloha, everybody. Bye-bye. And leave your comments below.